Hello, everybody. I saw a question on Facebook about how to install a light fixture in the ceiling. So that's what I'm going to try and show you guys how to do today. If you can see right above me here, there is an empty light fixture. I'm touching the wires and I'm quite comfortable with that. No problem at all because it's perfectly safe. So let's take a look at a little bit of safety so you can do the same thing. So the first thing you want to do is turn off your electricity. And you do that by finding your main utility box for your electricity. This one here is quite new. The apartment I live in has been renovated, or the entire building has been renovated last year. And it's very simple. You can see here, let's see if I can get that close enough, that all of these switches are on. They are in red. Red is danger, so yeah, what we're going to do is turn them on to green. Green is safe. Now you can do it this way and turn them off individually, but I don't do that because normally there's a map somewhere up here to show what each switch, which electrical outlet or appliance section each switch is for. But in this case there is none. But there is the very common main switch here. This switch controls all of these here. Red is danger, gonna get shocked. Green is safe. Quite easy. Now finding this box might be a problem because if you live in the old outback, then you will probably have to look around for it, but in most cases, a high percentage of the cases, these boxes are located in the entrance hall of the apartment, somewhere above or below. I've seen a few times where the entrance hall, where the electrical box has been planted in the floor. It's kind of ridiculous because water could run in and you could get electrocuted, but I guess, you know, in the times of old Berlin, no one really cared about that. Now, the second point of safety that you want to do is you want to have yourself a good set of screwdrivers, but the kind of screwdriver that you want to have is not this. This is my old Snap-on, or this. As you can see, lots of metal here, lots of contact area. These here are electrical safety screwdrivers. The metal has been covered and insulated so that, yeah, you don't get shocked if you transfer energy from here to into the handle. Then it's very unlikely that you will get yourself shocked. I recommend that you get yourself a set of these. If you have these, then do yourself a favor before you do it, unless you're like familiar with electricity. Wrap this length with double wrap of electrical tape, and that's good enough for regular 240. Of course, if you're going to be working with higher voltages, 340 or 1100, then you don't want to do that. You want to get a real safety screwdriver. Now, if you live in a newly renovated apartment, these are probably what you're going to find. What they are safety contacts. You squeeze them, insert the wire, and let them go. Squeeze, insert the wire, and let them go. It's quite simple, and it's fairly safe. Not something that you want to do if you're unfamiliar with electricity and or you have real sweaty hands. Yeah, it's always best just to turn off the mains. Now, if you live in an older place, someplace that hasn't been newly renovated, you might find yourself in a situation like this. This is a typical German AC current wiring system. This here is your hot, positive. This is where the transfer of energy from the power company comes first, and this is the return negative. Now, don't be fooled by when I say this, because both of these are hot at some split second or another. You can be electrocuted by just as easily from this one or this one. This here is your earth ground. This is usually transferred into the earth itself. It goes to a copper pole or a steel pole in the ground of the building. It's used to transfer energy from a lightning strike or a catastrophic event past your electrical appliances so that they don't get burned up. Frequently, if you don't see this on something and there's a lightning strike inside of your home, and you have something like a router or another appliance that does not have this earth ground, if it's a lightning strike, you want to go inside and check it out, because more than likely the inside of your router or your electrical clock has been burned, because without this earth ground, a lightning strike will transfer energy directly into this hot or negative and just fry the entire circuit. Now, the connection with this is fairly easy. What you want to do is you want to have a few of these. As you can see, it's one side goes into here, and then of course the object that you want to power goes on the other side. And you can see what I'm doing here with my fingers is, if this was a live wire, I would probably more likely I probably wouldn't be electrocuted, but I would get a reminder of what I'm doing. So yeah, you want to be careful. And you want to turn off your electricity. Okay, you put those on, and the original question was, what kind of bulb do I use? We have here some of your standard bulbs. Now, when you buy a bulb, the bulb is bought by the foot. And the way you really what you want to know is that this brown wire here is the positive, and it goes into the center here. The blue wire is negative, and it goes to the outside here. And that's just the way it works. That's the way, at least that's the way it works in Germany. It's slightly different in Poland than a couple of in Italy, but the typical one around the world, the standard is this. Positive is red, but in Germany it's brown. Negative is black, but in Germany it's blue. Now, the easiest way to understand this is just by simple color matching. This wire here is connected to this plug. This is what I typically do when I put something on the ceiling, because having a single contact point in the ceiling it's just not efficient. If you have a large kitchen and you want to connect 3 overhead lamps, then connecting them all to these 3 wires is going to be a pain in the ass. And this doesn't help much, because then you have to stuff all the wires into a single contact point. It just makes a mess. So what I do is I take the single contact point and distribute it into a bar like this, and then I take my electrical lamp and my lamps, the overhead lamps, they all get plugged in to these. Very simple. So I never have to deal with going into the ceiling again, and if I want to change a 1 foot fluorescent length to a 3-footer, then I don't have to deal with rewiring the entire thing. I just wire it and plug it in here. Okay, let's take a look at this green wire which is quite confusing to some people because sometimes you see it and sometimes you don't. Here we have a typical lighting fixture, just a standard light bulb fixture. You buy these from IKEA, Bauhaus, whatever. They are, what, €5, €3. I bought these on sale for, I think I bought 10 of these things because they were so cheap. I bought them at a small shop and they were €1.50 each or something like that. But as you notice, there is no green wire. No green and yellow wire. It's just brown, positive, and that's fine. Works perfectly. It's just a simple light bulb. Okay, so here we have a typical wall fixture. It's only got 2 wires connected, the brown and the blue, the base and the screw. But it's made of metal. Now, this was a little bit of a mistake on my part because I connected. This originally was connected to a 3-wire system, but I bought it without the wires on it, and then I rewired it to fit this plug because I wanted to have a switch connected to it. But most of these switches only run on 2 wires. So yeah, this is fairly safe, but you know, it's not. Without the green wire, without that earth ground, I'm suspicious of stuff like that. I've been shocked too many times in the years I've been working with electricity, so I don't typically do something like this, and I don't recommend that you do it either. Now here you see a similar fixture with a metal frame where I have connected it to the ceiling fixture. All 3 wires are connected. The earth ground, positive and negative, right on down. In the earth ground, you see that it's connected to this metal tab here, and then the metal tab, this metal tab here, and then the metal tab goes into this frame. And this is the safest way of doing something. This will let you sleep at night, and it's a prevention thing for electrical shock, lightning, and fire. Typically, when you see electrical fire, it's a lot of times it's because this earth ground has not been connected on a large appliance that draws a lot of amperage. Okay, I have to apologize a bit because I had forgotten that when I said I was going to do this video that I'm in the middle of a 6-month off-grid experiment. So my apartment is not actually connected to the main lines. I'm running my entire apartment on DC current, on standard solar panels, which is DC current. And if you don't know what AC current and DC current are, this here is DC current, and I have here an inverter which transfers all that energy into alternating current so that I can run my lights or appliances that need alternating current. Okay, so now I've turned on the inverter, and we'll plug this into the AC strip, and you will see that a lamp works just fine with just a 2-wire system. There we go. And off, on, and off. Well, that should do for the most part. I really don't have much more to add to this. I hope you guys are all safe when you're doing this. If you want to help me out a bit, then you can do that by saving your old appliances that don't work, that anything that has a motor in it, old blender or mixer or anything like that. If it's burned out or you just don't want it, I would be grateful to have it. I typically run through Berlin collecting items like this right here so that I can, what I do is I take these and I don't refurbish them, but what I do is I take them and turn them into electrical generators for off-grid, so for these guys that live in these abandoned buildings. And what I do is I add magnets to things like this so that they can have a small generator and have electricity inside, or have something that they can take with them when the police throw them out. So that's it for me today. Have a good one. Oh, and I forgot to say that at the end of this video, there's going to be a bunch of pictures that I took just so you don't have to scroll through back and forth and through the video itself and listen to me talk. You can just look at the images at the end. Thanks.
Warning.